I'm wrapping up this letter that I wrote you. Maybe it's the only way to go through. I won't lose myself for anybody. I'm not sorry. Yeah. Though it hurts, I only wish you blessings. When intuition talks, you gotta listen. I won't lose myself for anybody. I'm not sorry. Yeah. 'Cause you build me up to break me down. Never respect the love you found. And I had a voice inside the back of my mind. I always knew it deep down. You don't deserve me, babe, I won't lie. Got no more tears to cry. Oh, no looking back this time. 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 Running from the truth was getting reckless. In your arms I never felt protected. Oh. 'Cause you don't deserve me, babe, I won't lie. Got no more tears to cry. Oh. No looking back this time. 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 No looking back this time.
Afternoon. I hope everybody is well. I hope you are all well. Wanted to do a match preview show for the game tomorrow with Newcastle and Liverpool. Hope you've enjoyed the Premier League so far this weekend. Interesting that Manchester City lost. Didn't really see that one coming, did we? I mean, they've lost 9 times to Tottenham before this game. So Tottenham's their bogey team. Interesting one that everybody kind of doubted Thomas Frank when I think he's an exceptional manager. There's a reason why Liverpool were linked with him heavily. There's a reason why he was probably our second choice behind Arne Slot. He's going to do a great job at Tottenham. no doubt he's already got them organised, and he's already got Richarlison cooking. So let's see what happens there. I don't really want to talk too much about transfers in this show. We can kind of cover that on Monday. Not Monday, on Tuesday. We can kind of cover transfers on Tuesday. Obviously, I've got my show tonight, Conspiracies and Rabbit Holes for the members. Tomorrow I'm taking a day off, won't be doing any shows. Obviously watching the game, and then Tuesday I'll do a match review, and I might dig into some of the football news as well. So I might spread that 1 to 2 hours. We'll see how that goes. What I did want to say though is I wanted to give a shout out to my sponsor, Match Bingo. The QR code's on the screen and the link's in the chat. You can check out Match Bingo with the link. They've got a buy 4 cards, get 1 free. And obviously, if you deposit £5, then you'll get £10 free. A couple of games. Couple of games that Match Bingo's got coming up is the game, obviously on Monday, which they've got coming up, but they've also got the Fulham Manchester United game. At the moment, there's 48 people signed up for that one, with £250 available to win on that one. Obviously, the Liverpool game, there's 11 people in that one. 17 cards have been sold for Monday. Use the QR code to get a discount, and obviously sign up today. Gamble responsibly, and thanks Match Bingo for sponsoring my show. There's 24 of you in here. It's a bit dead today, isn't it? It seems like no one's really on the YouTube today checking out shows. So big up everyone that's tuned in. Really appreciate it. Let's get you in the chat here. Also a couple of shout outs. Big up Redbird. Big up James. Big up Liverpool Goals. Big up Luke. Big up John. Big up Alex. Big up Deirdre. Big up James. Big up John. Big up Bear. Sorry, got a tickle in my throat. Bear with me. Okay, that's better. Right, so I wanted to do a match review, a match preview, sorry. How I normally do that is I normally go through a lot of the Okay, that's better. So I normally go through a lot of the old data. I also go through some of the information around previous results and how we got on in these games against Newcastle, especially at their ground. But I also cover just any ground that we played them at. So we can cover that today. I also want to go through the team news, who's available, who's not available. I also want to go through a little bit about who might play, kind of setup that we might have. And finally, I want to go through the tactics board and just look at the formation that we're potentially going to play. I've actually got some mocha. I've actually got some mocha, but thanks for them. Also, big up AA. Still only a few people in here, but I'm glad you're here anyway. So what we'll do is we'll jump into preview of the game. So Newcastle versus Liverpool prediction, and obviously no Alexander Isak as the champions head to St James Park. Liverpool are the pre-match favourites with a 44.1% chance of victory according to Opta. The Reds are unbeaten in their previous 17 league meetings between these two teams, though Newcastle did defeat them in the EFL Cup final last season. Mo Salah's got 10 goals and 8 assists in the Premier League against Newcastle. Mo Salah's absolutely destroys Newcastle in games. So that's good to have on board with 10 goals and 8 assists in the last meetings against Newcastle. Big up, Jamie. Hope you're well, mate. I know people are saying that Isak's not happening. I'm not going to rule it out. I'm just not going to rule it out. Also, big up AR. As I continue, has a match ever been so overshadowed by a player who has a certain to taking no part in it in Alexander Isak saga has been the transfer story of the summer, with Liverpool hoping to prize the Swedish striker away from Newcastle for a likely British record fee of around 130 million. With Isak unwilling to play for the Magpies, as it stands, the atmosphere at St James Park on Monday night will be electric and emotionally charged. Liverpool players will be stepping into the lion's den even more so than usual. However, it's actually been quite profitable ground for the Reds in recent times. The visitors are unbeaten at Newcastle since 2015. Do you hear that? Last time we got beat at Newcastle was 2015. Yeah, history's on our side. Collecting 5 wins and 3 draws from their subsequent 8 trips to the corner of the northeast. Joe Gomez was a Liverpool player when they last lost there, but did not play as he was injured. The England international recently missed 3 days of training, having only just returned from an Achilles injury, so he could be a doubt for this match too. That could be a problem for Arne Slot also, as Jerome Frimpong has picked up a hamstring issue and is out till the middle of September, while Conor Bradley has only just returned to training, but he is in training. Liverpool don't have many injuries, but all of them are affecting the potential right-back options. Slot can be greatly welcomed by the fact that Ryan Gravenberch is back from suspension. Isak aside, Eddie Howe is only missing Joe Willock from the squad. The greater issue for the Newcastle boss is how will his side score against the defending champions when their top striker is not involved. The Magpies haven't scored in any of their last 4 Premier League matches without Isak and squandered 47 shots, collectively worth 5.57 expected goals on the way. Did you hear that? The XG for goals has been 5.5 for Newcastle, and they haven't scored any from 47 shots. It's crazy how much they rely upon Isak, who won't be involved in this game. Anthony Gordon played up front in the goalless draw against Villa Park last weekend. He had 7 shots, both the most he's ever had in a Premier League game, and more than any other player in the division managed on match day 1, and still never scored. And all of them, two of them were on target, and the rest missed. Liverpool had no attacking concerns in in their season opening 4-2 victory against Bournemouth. All 4 forwards scored for the Reds: Hugo Ekitike, Cody Gakpo and Federico Chiesa and Mo Salah, all getting off the mark for 2025-26. The latter is inevitably the player Newcastle fans fear the most. Salah has a phenomenal record against them, and any other team managed by Eddie Howe. Mo Salah is an absolute demon against Eddie Howe's teams. Okay, he's a bagsman against Eddie Howe's teams. did it against Bournemouth, and also did it against Newcastle. Bournemouth are obviously Eddie Howe's previous team. The Egyptian king has been directly involved in 18 Premier League goals against the Magpies, registering at least one assist in each of the last 6 appearances against them. He is the only player to ever achieve that feat against the club in the competition's history. Did you hear that? Mo Salah's already got a record against Newcastle. He's the only player ever to have that many assists. It seems inevitable that Liverpool will score at least once on Monday night to equal their longest run of consecutive top-flight games scored in netting in 36 straight between March 2019 and February 2020. They have scored 90 goals in 39 league games under Slot, which is averaging 2.3 goals per game. Under Slot, we score 2.3 goals per game. Just let that sink in. Newcastle have had 47 shots and scored no goals. They haven't scored without Isaac. We score at least 2 goals. Any team that wants to beat Liverpool, and this is going all the way back to Jurgen Klopp, by the way, this isn't just Arne Slot. Any team that wants to beat Liverpool has to score a minimum of 3 goals. That's just how it is against Liverpool. You have to score 3 goals to beat Liverpool. Because if you score 2 goals, we can still beat you. Like, that's just how it is. It's unbelievable. The numbers are insane. Like, the issue for Liverpool is at the other end of the pitch. They conceded 2 Opta-defined fast break goals against Bournemouth to match the total they allowed in their 38 Premier League matches last season. The return of Gravenberch should help, but the openness of the new look Liverpool undoubtedly offers hope to Newcastle. But with no goals in their last 3 league games and no Isaac, can they take advantage? The Magpies haven't gone 4 without a goal since February 2020. For one thing, even if that's only a statistical omen to suggest they won't draw a blank here, their players can't keep missing chances forever. And there will be rarely received ferocious backing to the decibel level they will when Isaac's admirers are in town. Newcastle versus Liverpool head-to-head. Newcastle won the Carabao Cup final against Liverpool last season 2-1, but the Reds have utterly dominated the head-to-head record between these two in the Premier League over the last decade. They last suffered defeat way back in December 2015, 2 months after Jurgen Klopp took charge of the team, and have won 12 and drawn 5 in their last 17 meetings, since an own goal from Martin Skrtel and a strike from future Red Jorginho Wijnaldum secured a 2-0 win for Newcastle 10 years ago. The last time Newcastle won a Premier League game against Liverpool was 10 years. 10 years. 10 years. The Reds won the previous league meeting by that score at Anfield in February, with Dominic Szoboszlai and Alexis McAllister finding the net. They followed a 3-3 draw at St James Park last December, in which both teams led before Newcastle earned a point in the 90th minute equaliser with a Caoimhin Gallagher-Trent mistakes. Newcastle versus Liverpool prediction. Optus Supercomputer is predicting an away win for Liverpool. The Premier League champions were successful in 44.1 of the 10,000 simulated matches. This obviously means there's still more chance that they don't take 3 points though. A Newcastle victory was the outcome of 31.5 of the time, with the remaining 24.4 of the probability assigned to a draw. Predicted lineups. Newcastle potentially looking at Nick Pope, Kieran Trippier, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, Tino Livermorento, Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali, Joe Linton, Anthony Elanga, Anthony Gordon, and Harvey Barnes. Now, what I will point out is Newcastle have a 34 and a 33-year-old central defender with a 34-year-old right back in Kieran Trippier. There's not a lot of pace in the Newcastle defence. There really isn't a lot of pace in the Newcastle defence. Hugo Ekitike, Florian Wirtz are going to have an absolute field day, and they're going to burn them for pace. That's just a fact. Even Chiesa's fast. Chiesa's clocked up 32 kilometres an hour. He's a fast player. So I feel like pace is really going to help us in this game. And I also feel like having Joe Gomez at the back on the right back position will really help us, because we're not going to be so attacking, because he can tuck in and he can play central defender a lot. He can help Canate out. He's not going to be this guy which is going to be wandering up the pitch. We're going to keep it nice and tight. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Gravenberch and McAllister are going to do a much better job defensively, because Arne Slot knows that he's been picked off twice for goals which were on the break because we had too many midfielders in the opposition box. He came out and said that in the press conference, so he knows. And we've also had quite a bit of time to prepare for this game. When the other game that we were beaten in the final, we didn't have a lot of time to prepare for that game because we had Paris Saint-Germain and we also had other tough games. Liverpool's team is likely to be Alisson Becker in goal. They've put Calvin Ramsey down on this list, but it's not going to be Calvin Ramsey. We're not going to play Calvin Ramsey. That's just not going to happen. I think it's going to be Joe Gomez and Conor Bradley rotating, or potentially Dominic Szoboszlai. And then you got Ibrahim Konate, Virgil van Dijk, Milos Kerkez. They've got Dominic Szoboszlai here. That's just not going to happen. It's going to be it's not going to be Dominic Szoboszlai. It's going to be Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis McAllister, Mo Salah, Florian Wirtz, Cody Gakpo, and Hugo Ekitike. That's absolutely going to be the team. It really is. That's going to be the team. So, a quick update from 7 o'clock this morning. Liverpool will have Alexis McAllister fit as they look to take another step to the Premier League title against Newcastle. The Argentine international was left dazed. Hang on, how long is this? Okay, this is old. Sorry, this is old. This is old news. Let me bring up an update. Let me get you an update. Where is the game? Where's the game? Okay, I can't find that, but what I've got is this. Okay, so for Liverpool, up front, no Isaac. No Isaac meant no problem for Liverpool during the first Premier League game, where the Reds' defensive deficiencies nearly cost them the game against Bournemouth. I didn't feel like we were under any threat, even though they scored 2. Hugo Ekitike's debut goal and assist proceeded a blistering pace shortly after Antonio Semenyo. I don't know why that's even in there. However, including the curtain-raising defeat to the Eagles, Liverpool have now just kept 1 clean sheet in their last 10 competitive matches. We're probably going to concede a goal. Like, it's going to be obvious that Newcastle are probably going to get that monkey off their back with the with not scoring in the last 4 games. So they probably will score against us. But right now, the form table is Newcastle have got a draw at Villa, Liverpool have got a win. Team news. As expected, there was no miraculous makeup between Isak and Newcastle over the past week, and the 150 million rated striker remains ostracised from the group while he pines for a move for Anfield. However, Isak may be the host's only absentee. Joe Willock is on course to return, so he should be on the bench. A debut may come for Jacob Ramsey, who they've just signed. Alanga, Gordon, Harvey Barnes will all play up front. Barnes in particular ought to be licking his lips, as Liverpool will be without Jeremy Frimpong until after the international break, while Conor Bradley and Joe Gomez are being brought back to fitness. Slot name checked a couple of emergency alternatives, including Dominic Szoboszlai, who could well start as an auxiliary right back, and the return of Rowan Gravenberch. Salah aims to build on a sensational record of 10 goals and 8 assists against Newcastle. Yeah, a lot of people are just writing Newcastle off for this one because he can't score goals. What I did want to cover was I wanted to quickly go through the referees as well. That's a good point. Yeah, I did want to cover the referees. Okay, so where are we? So, just in case you didn't know, Everton won 2-0 at home to Brighton. Which is interesting because everyone was kind of writing them off, which makes me laugh. When it's like one game into the season. So Ndeye and Garner scored the goals. I think Brighton missed the penalty. and Crystal Palace got a draw against Nottingham Forest. Sarr and Hudson-Odoi with the goals. There's no other matches that are on right now, but I think there's a game that's going to kick off soon. So I wanted to where is it? Who's doing the refereeing for it? I can't see. And what I will do though is I'll share my screen quickly because this is interesting. So this is the last 5 games. This is the last 5 games for Liverpool. So you got the 2-0, you got the 3-3 draw, 4-2, 2-1, 2-0. Referee's going to be Simon Hooper, who is a dreadful referee. Shall we have a look at any incidents with Simon Hooper? So let's have a look. So Simon Hooper is associated. So we just have a look how bad the referee is going to be, because because we seem to get all the worst referees consistently. That's just how it is with Liverpool. Simon Hooper is associated with several controversial LFC incidents, most notably the Luis Diaz offside goal against Tottenham in September 2023, where a major communication error prevented a clear goal from being awarded, and the FA charge against Liverpool for players surrounding Hooper in April 2023. Manchester City match after he didn't issue a second yellow card to Rodri, who also controversially dismissed Curtis Jones and Diogo Jota in the same Tottenham game. Look, at the end of the day, he's a terrible referee, and we've managed to get him again. Rodri's second yellow card during Liverpool's 4-1 loss at Manchester City. Liverpool players surrounded Hooper protesting that Rodri should have received a second yellow card for a challenge on Cody Gakpo, which would have resulted in a red card. Liverpool was subsequently charged $37,000 for him not doing his job. Both Liverpool manager and former referee Mark Halsey acknowledged that Rodri was fortunate not to be sent off, and the FA was right to charge Liverpool. Despite the significant controversy, Simon Hooper was not stood down from refereeing duties. Of course he wasn't. It's an absolutely terrible, terrible ref. How have we managed to get referee again? How have we managed to get this referee again? How have we managed to get this referee again? Like, honestly, like, why do we keep on getting these referees? Like the Newcastle away is a tough game. It's a really tough game for a referee, and you're going to give it to the guy who's already got previous against Liverpool. Really? You really want to throw that one into the mix? You really want to give that guy a game against Liverpool when he clearly doesn't like Liverpool because we tried to get the fucker sacked? We tried to get him sacked because he was shit. He should have been suspended from his job because it was one of the worst refereeing decisions in history. It was disgraceful. It was disgraceful. And we've got him again. And we've got him from the Newcastle game. Honestly, like, it couldn't be more of a powder cake. Like, it's literally waiting to explode, this game. This game's got red cards written all over it. Like, and he's going to let Joelinton just kick all our players up in the air, isn't he? He's absolutely going to let Joelinton just go around and just boot all our players everywhere. That's what's going to happen. Absolute wet flannel. Oh, man. We have to have him, don't we? We have to have him. Of course we have to have him. Of course we have to have him. Seriously? What I find crazy is we're still fifth. And we've only played one game. And we're still fifth. We've only played one game. Crazy. Still fifth, and we've only played one game. Madness. Absolute madness. Okay, so let's dig in. Let's have a look at the potential lineup. So let me just bring up the tactics board. Okay, so let me bring up the tactics board. Bear with me. Tactics board. Right. Okay, so we got the tactics board up. Let me just get rid of people out of chat for a sec. Right. Let me just close that. Close that. Okay, so this was the lineup that I had for the game, pretty much. So you've got Alisson in goal. We've got Kerkez on the left. We've got Virgil van Dijk. We've got Konate. And then we've got Joe Gomez. I think Joe Gomez will potentially play the first half because he did come on against Bournemouth and kept us quite solid, like he did. Like, and I'll give you his numbers against Bournemouth as well, Gomez, because he was decent when he came on. So I'll give you his numbers when he came on against Bournemouth. Okay, bear with me. Ooh, that's not Bournemouth. That's Crystal Palace. Okay, so let's have a look at players. Okay, so we brought Joe Gomez on. Okay, so the numbers for Joe Gomez in that game. Let me just switch screens. Bear with me. So the numbers for Joe Gomez in that game, is he came on for 19 minutes. He did one clearance, 15 touches, 6 out of 7 accurate passes. He just stayed in the right area. He stayed as a right back. He came in centre a bit, kind of stayed in that position. He also won the header. Which then the ball then dropped to Endo, and Endo then passed to Mo Salah, and Mo Salah scored the fourth. But he won the header. Like, it was a key header that he won. I know Leone can play as a right-sided centre-back, but he's not a right-back. Joe Gomez has played right-back loads. So I'd be fine with Joe Gomez being the right-back for the first half. And then, depending on how he is, then bring Dominic Szoboszlai on. I don't want to play Connor Bradley after he's only had 2 training sessions or maybe 3 training sessions. I don't want Connor Bradley being injured. I want Connor Bradley to get brought back so he's fit and he can play, because we've got Arsenal next after Newcastle, and that's at home, and we're going to need somebody who's got more pace than Gomez. And we're also going to need a potential centre-back option in that game, like as a potential backup to come on. So Joe Gomez is vital to be on the bench in case we need to throw on another centre-back or whatever. But we haven't got any centre-back options apart from Gomez and Leone. And Leone's a kid. I'm not throwing Leone in against Arsenal if we have to. So for me, Joe Gomez first half, and then maybe Dominic Szoboszlai second half if Joe Gomez needs to come off after like 60 minutes. So that's kind of how I feel about that one. So let me just go back to the tactics board again. So for me, it's Gomez, then it's McAllister and Gravenberch. And we can just look at McAllister's numbers against Bournemouth, because McAllister played in that role, and it was Dominic Szoboszlai that played in the Grav role. So we can look at his numbers. McAllister's, he obviously got an assist in that game. Sorry, I'm not sharing the screen. So he played 72 minutes. Remember, McAllister had an injury in pre-season, so he's coming back. So he kind of played everywhere, but his main heat map was in the centre midfield. But him and Dominic Szoboszlai did swap over quite a lot. Like they kind of covered the defensive midfielder role through the game. So he got an assist, 40 out of 46 passes. He got 61 touches, big chances created. I think he put a big chance over for Ekitike that he missed. He got a shot on target. He won 4 out of his 8 ground duels, and he won 1 out of 2 aerial duels, but he did lose possession 9 times. He was fouled. He made 1 interception, and he did obviously a couple of tackles. McAllister goes back in again for me. Dom was everywhere, but Dom played right back at the end of the game, but he did cover a lot of the right back area because obviously he's covering for Mo, especially when he plays in that position. And he obviously covered for Frimpong as well when Frimpong was maraudering forward. He played the whole 97 touches, 66 out of 75 accurate passes, 2 key passes, couple of long balls, shot on target, 2 shots off target, ground duels 6 out of 11 won, not bad. Lost possession 15 times. One of them was their goal. 2 clearances, 4 tackles, errors leading to goal, 1 because of the Mo Salah pass. But Mo's not going to get blamed for that, is he? He should be, really. And what we're going to miss on the right-hand side is this. So, played for 60 minutes, came off with a hammy. Obviously, his heat map was here, basically this position and this position. 2 chances created, 1 interception. Speed is insane, 36 kilometres. He won 3 out of 4 ground duels. He lost possession 5 times. He only had 28 touches. He really wasn't that involved in the game that much. Frimpong, if I'm completely honest. 12 out of 16 passes. I didn't particularly think he was involved in the game much, which was unfortunate. We can talk about Curtis Jones if you want, but I don't think Curtis is going to be in the team. I think he'll be on the bench. So let's look at the game. Let's look at the lineup again. So you've got Gravenberch, McAllister. I think Gravenberch is really going to help in that area. He's going to be more defence-minded. McAllister still gets stuck in. He won 50% of his tackles, remember? So he still gets stuck in. Dom got stuck in as well, by the way. Like, I'm just saying, but he won 50% of his tackles. Then you've got, obviously, Mo. Mo had a decent game. He did have a decent game. He scored a goal. He had a couple of chances, but he didn't have a bad game. He probably should have got an assist, but that's kind of how it is. Wirtz was in and out, but he's new to the game. He needs a bit of time to adjust to the Premier League, I think. Cody had a great game. I don't care what anyone says. Cody had a really good game. And that's why he got 8.7 man of the match. Like, it's why he was voted the best player, according to SofaScore. Cody was voted the best player, according to SofaScore. Like, that's people watching the game. Cody was everywhere. For people to say that Cody doesn't do any track and back is just, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry. 57 touches, 3 key passes, 29 out of 21 accurate passes. Remember, he plays in an attacking play, so it's not easy. Big chances created, shots on target, shots off target. 6 out of 12 ground duels won. 6 out of 11 aerial duels won. I know he loses possession, but he's a striker. It happens. He was brilliant in that game. You know, scored a great goal. Scored a really good goal. Like, I don't think people are kind of ignoring the fact that he scored a 0.16 xG chance. Like, it was a really, really low chance of scoring from where Cody was. And he just took it past 3 players and then just put him in the bottom corner. He needs to play. He needs to be in this Liverpool team. He really does. And obviously Ekitike was sensational, a goal and an assist. I think Wirtz and Ekitike dovetailing with Cody on that side, with that triangle, will really help Mo Salah to get into space. And then he'll be on his own a lot. And you'll be able to get the ball over to Mo. Mo will be able to work his magic. Whether he puts like a Rabona in or or Travella, or maybe Mo has another one of those long shots that he kills in the top bin. He tried it against Bournemouth. It was a good save. Maybe he'll get one in this time. Don't underestimate that triangle with Wirtz, Ekitike, and Cody on the far side, because it's all been created to give an overload on that side so Mo's free. That's what it's all been created for. That whole scenario on that left-hand side has been generated to give Mo space in games. And I'll show you on the heat map. Let me show you on the heat map. Where's the heat map? Where's the heat map? Where is it? Where is the heat map? Player of the match, Cody, like we said. Does anybody know how you bring up the heat map? Is it there? Nope. Does anyone know how to bring up the heat map? Because the heat map disappeared. Oh, there it is. Sorry. So players' average positions. So this was Liverpool's. As you can see, there's an overload. Am I sharing my screen? Yeah, sorry. As you can see, there's an overload on the left-hand side where you've got Ekitike. So you've got Ekitike, Wirtz, and Cody. That gives Mo all the space on the right-hand side. The whole setup is created to make sure Mo has free roam. That's what it's all being created for. It's all being created on the left-hand side to give Mo more space. And that's what will happen. So you'll have Ekitike here, you'll have Wirtz here, you'll have Cody here. Let me just look at the heat map. Yeah. You'll have Wirtz here, and then you'll have Salah here. And that's what it's all created for. Then you've got Grav. Oh, am I sharing my screen? Sorry, am I sharing my screen? So be created like this. So Cody's got the space here to move in. Ekitike and Wirtz can dovetail. And then Mo's got a lot of space on his own. I think Gomez will come a lot more central when we're out of possession to just shore up the defense. I don't think Gomez is going to be doing this Frimpong role. I just don't see it. Maybe it could be the opposite way round, and it could be Kirkes doing the Frimpong role. I mean, if Bradley's fit, I don't think he is though, then Bradley can do that. But I think Grav is going to be marshalling this area here much better, and McAllister will be as well. And I think Kirkes might do a bit more moving forward. And then Gapco can cut inside, and Gapco can have those shots from the edge of the box. Or he can come down this side and do the curler to the back post, which has been really beneficial. It's really worked for Liverpool. But then we can also talk about the bench. We've got so many options on the bench now. You've obviously got Mamadashvili to, if needed. Chiesa can come on. He was a great substitute for Ekitike. Came on and scored a decisive third goal. So Chiesa could come on. You've got Dominic Szoboszlai could come on for Gomez, or he could come on for Wirtz. You've got a lot of options there. Then you've got Curtis Jones could come on. You come on for Mack. You can come on for Grav. You come on for Wirtz as well. He's very rotational. You've got Endo who came on. He came on for Frimpong, which didn't work. So then he got moved back into midfield, and then he created the assist. So you could bring Endo on if you wanted. You've obviously got Leone if you need him. You got Robbo who could come on for Kirkes. I thought Robbo was dreadful in the game. You got Bradley, Rio, and obviously Trey if you need be. Obviously, Frimpong is still injured. I think all of these players, we might as well just not talk about them again. Elliott might come on and do something because he's still in and around the squad, but he's been linked away. Stefan Bajcetic is nowhere near the first team. Kostas will probably get sold to Roma or loaned out to Roma. Gordon's got about 15 teams in the Championship that want him. He'll get sold. I believe that Dan's will probably go out on loan. McConnell's going out on loan. There's a couple of other players. Kumas has gone now. He's gone out on loan to Birmingham. And then obviously you've got Guehi, Isaac and Rodrigo are all major linked players still. So I just feel that Liverpool have to get this one over the line. This needs to be a win. It needs to be a win when Newcastle are a bit in turmoil for me. They're a bit in turmoil for me. So I think this one needs to be a win. I genuinely don't want Robbo. I just don't want Robbo coming on. Like I know he wasn't at fault for the goal. Like he hasn't been credited at fault for the goal, but he was on the pitch for 30 minutes and he lost possession 5 times. He only touched the ball. How many times? He only touched the ball 8. How do you touch the ball 18 times and lose possession 5? Please give me an explanation for that. Can you give me an explanation for that, please? You touched the ball 18 times and you lost possession 5. Absolute stinker. Absolute stinker in that game. He was dreadful in that game. And then we probably do need to have conversations about this guy because I honestly don't know what's happened to him. Like, I'll be completely honest. Konate looks a shadow of himself. And maybe it's because Guehi is looming. Maybe it's because of all the stuff with Guehi and he thinks he's going to get his dinner taken from him when Guehi comes in. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's because he's not signed a new contract. Maybe it's because Real Madrid is still sniffing around him. I just don't know. But does Konate get in ahead of Militao? Does he get in ahead of Rudiger at Real Madrid? I ask you that question because I don't think he does. I certainly don't think he gets in ahead of Dean Huijsen. Dean Huijsen's having an unbelievable start to the season. He was brilliant in the pre-season. He was brilliant in the Club World Cup. And he's also been brilliant in his first games. So, does Konate walk into the Real Madrid team? No. He doesn't get in ahead of Rudiger and he doesn't get in ahead of Militao and Dean Huijsen. So he's 4th choice. He's 4th choice when he goes to Real Madrid. Liverpool, he's 2nd choice or 3rd choice. Like, I don't get it. Like, I really don't get it. Like, you might get a bit of a pay rise at Real Madrid. You might get your 200,000. We've offered you 140, I believe. You might get your 200,000 at Real Madrid. But, I mean, you're guaranteed to be next to Virgil van Dijk until you make more bozo moves and then Guehi comes in and takes your dinner. But at the moment, we don't have Guehi. So at the moment, you are the 2nd choice centre-back with Gomez the 3rd choice and Leone as 4th. And that is it. So start playing football and start playing like you want to be at Liverpool. Because you were dreadful in the last game. You won 2 out of 4 ground duels and you never even had an aerial duel. How did you not have an aerial duel? You lost possession 6 times as a centre-back. That is scandalous. That is scandalous. No long balls received. You got dribbled past twice. How you're not at fault for their goal is beyond me, but you're not somehow. But you were bad, and you've been bad for 2 games now, and you weren't great in pre-season. So you need to buck your ideas up, because there's a guy coming to eat your dinner in Mark Wahey. There's a guy coming to eat your dinner in Mark Wahey, and if we get him, then you got to fight for it. You got to fight for your position against him. Look, at the end of the day, if Gomez could stay fit, I think Slot would play Gomez. If Gomez could stay fit, I think Slot would play Gomez. I don't think Slot's got an issue with Gomez. If he could stay fit all season, Gomez starts. Gomez plays next to Virgil van Dijk. Like, he does. And for me, I think he's a better player. I think he's a better player than Konate. If Gomez was fit all season long, Gomez is your guy. He plays centre back. He plays centre back with Virgil. He's got a better record with Virgil than any other centre back we've ever had. You know, at the end of the day, like Matt, you got a 31-year-old Matip who was playing ahead of him. You have to be realistic here. You have to be realistic. Do we play the football right now that suits a gung-ho defender? And the answer is no. The answer is no. We don't need a guy to come into midfield and try and crunch someone and try and take the ball off someone when we're so high up that if the ball gets beyond them, we're screwed. And a lot of teams play counter-attack or low block against Liverpool. We don't need centre-backs that lose possession. We don't need centre-backs that are rash. It's not how it works. Which is why we're getting rid of Kostas Tsimikas, because he's too rash, because he makes reckless decisions. That's the reason why we're getting rid of Kostas Tsimikas. I'm not sure why we're keeping Andy Robinson, because he does the same thing now, but maybe we're keeping him around because he's an influence. He's been at the club a long time. He keeps the continuity. He's only got 1 year left on his contract. Maybe that's why, because we're just going to let him go on a free next year. But yeah, that's how I feel. I've done nearly an hour. I'm only doing an hour on this one. Let me know in the chat what score you think it'll be. Let me know in the chat what score you think it'll be. I think it will be another 4-2. I think it's going to be another 4-2. I think this season's going to be wild until we get Guehi in. I think it's going to be quite wild. I think we win 4-2. What score do you think in the chat? Let me know in the chat. Big up, Brian. Hope you're well, mate. What do you think in the chat? Come on, there's 70 of you in here. 4-1. 4-1. 3-2. Oof, that's a game. That's a game I don't want to watch now. 3-2. Oof. You think it'll be 4-2 as well? Yeah, it's a big week. It is a big week. You are right. It's a big week. 2-1 win. $4-3. I don't want it to be 4-3. 4-1. So people think we're going to score more than 2 goals, which is exactly what I want to hear. Yeah, because the numbers don't lie, do they? 3-1. The numbers don't lie, do they? The numbers do say that Liverpool are more than likely going to score 2 or more goals. And Newcastle haven't scored in the last 4 games. So it's an interesting one that they don't win games when they don't have Isaac. They don't score enough goals when they don't have Isaac, and Isaac's not playing. So I think it's an interesting one. I really hope the referee doesn't have an input in this game, but I feel like he probably will, because how is the Sensini handball still not being talked about? How is the Sensini handball still not getting talked about? And how did they not have any conversation at halftime about the blatant handball by James Trafford? Like, he should have been sent off. Like, is this another Manchester City thing, is it? Where Manchester City are not being talked about again? Like, I know they lost 2-0, and I get it, but they tried their hardest to disallow the Tottenham goal, which was clearly onside. And they should have been down to 10 men with no goalkeeper. Like, that's just a fact. Like even if it wasn't a handball, the goalkeeper need their player in the chest and did not touch the ball, and that was outside the box. So it should have been a red card for a reckless tackle when Trafford took out Kudus knee high in the chest. That's a red card anyway. Like that didn't even get talked about. Like, how did that didn't even get talked about? But yeah, he was bad. Like, he was bad. Anyway, that's all we're gonna do today. Really appreciate everyone that tuned in. I know it's a bit of a slow one today. No super chats, no memberships today. It's fine. But if you want to join tonight, members only show, that kicks off at 9:00 for 2 hours. Conspiracies and rabbit holes. Got loads to cover there. It's all down to you guys. So you let me know in the chat on the show what you want me to talk about, and we will. So if you do want to become a member, it's 99p. Join up today, and then you got access to the rabbit hole show tonight. And yeah, if you want to donate to the channel, then drop me super chat, super thanks, whatever it is. All of it goes back into the channel. Obviously, bought this nice microphone and stand with the money from the channel, which I appreciate. So I'm investing it back into the channel. Join tonight if you want, and I also want to put that back up on the link there. So check out the Match Bingo link. Get involved in the game today, Manchester United. So you can still buy bingo cards for that, and tomorrow you can buy a Match Bingo card for the Liverpool game. Use the link in the description, and I will send you on to another show now. Bear with me. Who is live? Let's have a look who's live. We have... Who do we have live? So we have Don. Donny Sam's live now, so go and join him. And stick in KMAC Raid. Stick in KMAC Raid for that one. And go and join Don's show. And I will catch you all on Tuesday for non-members. For members, 9:00 tonight. But for non-members, we'll catch up on Tuesday. We'll do a match review, and we'll also catch up on any news. I will see you all later.